All right, so let's talk about the economic whirlwind happening in India right now. You've got this massive wave of foreign cash pouring in, and at the same time, the government is pushing through new laws at a dizzying pace. So, what's really going on? To give you a sense of the scale here, just look at this number: $15 billion. That's how much foreign investment has flooded into just India's financial services sector this year alone. And honestly, it doesn't look like it's slowing down. So you gotta ask, right? What is driving this incredible gold rush of global capital into one of the world's biggest economies? Well, it's kind of a perfect storm. You have global investors looking for opportunities, and a government at home that's suddenly hitting the accelerator. So here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll dive into that huge $15 billion figure. Then we'll look at the breakneck speed of lawmaking. After that, we'll get into the big why, the grand ambition behind all this. And finally, we'll look at the bumps in the road, the challenges and the criticisms.
Okay, let's start with the money. I mean, what does $15 billion in investment deals actually look like?
Now, what's really fascinating here isn't just the sheer amount of money. It's who is investing. We're seeing huge players from all over the world: Japan, the UAE, South Africa. This isn't just one or two countries testing the waters. No, this signals a massive vote of confidence from across the globe. It's not a trickle, it's an absolute flood. And you know, one group really stands out in all this: Japanese firms. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Their own domestic market offers pretty limited growth, so they're looking to India's booming economy for new places to put their money, just like we saw with that big Sumitomo Mitsui investment in Yes Bank.
Okay, so that's the money side of the story. Now let's switch gears to the other piece of the puzzle, the incredible speed of lawmaking that's happening. The Modi government has been pushing new legislation through with well, let's call it an unusual sense of urgency.
And this chart just says it all. This was their most productive winter session in 5 years. They spent nearly double the time on legislation this winter compared to last. We're talking lawmakers staying in the House well past dinner time. It's a crystal clear signal that the momentum has totally shifted. And these weren't just minor tweaks. This legislative sprint pushed through some massive, long-awaited reforms. I mean, take insurance. For years, foreign companies couldn't own a majority stake. Then, boom, overnight, that cap is gone. That alone opens the door to billions in new investment. And it's the same story for the nuclear sector and labor laws. These are fundamental shifts that businesses have been wanting for a long, long time. So that brings us to the big question. Why the sudden rush? Why right now? Well, it all connects back to a single, absolutely massive national goal. And this is it, the 2047 goal. The Prime Minister's ambition is to transform India into a fully developed nation by that year. And the thinking in the government is that these reforms are absolutely essential to make that happen. The idea is that opening up these key sectors will unlock the hundreds of billions in investment they need for that kind of transformation. But here's the reality check. To actually hit that 2047 target, economists say India needs to sustain growth of over 8% a year, every year. The projection for next year, it's a solid but lower 6.5%. And that gap, that right there is what explains the government's incredible sense of urgency. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. This high-speed approach comes with some pretty significant challenges and a lot of vocal critics. You could say it's a sprint, but on a very, very tricky course. So on one side, you have economists, like the team at Nomura, who see all this as a really positive structural shift. They think these reforms are going to attract serious long-term capital, and they're even predicting growth could climb to almost 7% in 2026. But on the other hand, the country is facing some serious headwinds. We're talking 50% tariffs from the US that are hammering exports. Big trade deals with the US and EU are stalled, and the rupee, well, it's plunged to a record low, making it Asia's worst-performing currency. It's getting so bad that some states are already warning of irreparable damage to their local businesses. And back home, the government is also facing a lot of heat for how these reforms are being passed. The opposition argues that these massive laws are being rushed through without nearly enough debate, all while other huge issues, like Delhi's awful air pollution, are being pushed to the side. Which really brings us to the final critical question in all of this. The ambition is clear and the pace is absolutely furious. But transforming an entire economy is a marathon, not a sprint. The real question is whether this rapid, top-down approach can actually build the sustainable momentum that's needed to win that very, very long race ahead.